Good afternoon, Mark at the Expert Corner group and YouTube channel. We're talking about whetstones today, and I wanted to say a couple more things that I neglected to say. First of all, the first set of whetstones I ever used, I ordered them from Wicked Edge. Wicked Edge, back in the early days, prior to about 2016, they associated with Tom Blodgett from Gende Industries, and Tom had offered whetstones for Wicked Edge. This happens to be one of Tom's Shapton glass stones that I purchased from Wicked Edge, or Curamako Pro stones that I purchased from Wicked Edge. They also offered a Chaucera stone from Wicked Edge on handles like this. What I'm trying to say is they were cut and made for Wicked Edge in association with Tom Blodgett at Gende Industries. That was many years ago. From the previous videos, you will gather that it is a very complicated market because, first of all, it's an international market, the whetstones, but then there are whetstones that are domestic stones and international stones and USA stones. And so what is used to make those different whetstones can vary depending upon who got the stones, who had the rights to cut them, if they had the rights to cut them, and how they were cut and by who and whatever. So the market is very wide open. I am trying to help people that use Wicked Edge to find where they can get these stones from, where they can get these whetstones, because it was such a special part for so many years. I have a lot of stones, but there's a lot of people that have whetstones, just not this many. I got into it, I wanted to see the differences. But there are other people using Wicked Edge longer than me that have been using whetstones. That's what I was trying to say, is when I first started, whetstones were available right from Wicked Edge, along with their diamond stones. And so I had used them right early on. And then I got into it more. In that time, all those years, there's still only really one maker of whetstones for Wicked Edge, and that's Tom at Gende Industries. There was, I can't think of his name right now, from Oldowan, and he was making stones, and he was getting some of his stones from Gende, because the cutting of the stones is a very tedious project, because there's breakage and you have to know how to cut them, like cutting any stone, like cutting a diamond, to get the most out of it without breaking them and stuff like that. So it's a very special market. Therefore, it becomes very expensive. Then when you try to put it in the system to get all the grits, it just adds on and adds on. So using these alternate mediums for guided sharpening becomes expensive. And then when we use it with Wicked Edge that works with both sides at the same time, and 2 grits on each stone, so every paddle pair you make is already 2 grits, 4 stones, so it becomes an investment. And then when you want to make a kit of stones in a systematic way, very fine, very coarse grit to very fine grit, and fill in all the places like I alluded to in the previous video like the paint palette or your drill index, if you want to get the systematized grits, it becomes really expensive. So, with the stones, the questions that I always get is, which is the best bang for your buck if you had to choose one? I like Chaucer stones. The Chaucer, again, is one of those stones that there's a Chaucer, there's a Chaucer Professional Series. They're all good. I like splash and go stones. I like stones that I can spritz and they absorb the water, and I use them and I spritz them and use them as I'm going. Because remember, I'm working with stones that are vertical, so the water wants to fall off. As you're scraping the stone across the knife edge, the apex, it squeegees the water off, so you're spritzing them, and the stones are meant to absorb a little bit of water into them, and they soften up as they work, and some make a mud slurry, and such is the characteristics of the stones. But I work mostly with splash and go stones. Chaucer is an excellent stone. It is a good combination between cutting and polishing. I enjoy using it very much to feel the feedback. My go-to favorite has been Shapton glass stones, but the ones that we used, the cut for Wicked Edge, had no glass backing. Those went away because they broke. They quit manufacturing them and made a Shapton glass stone that was actually laminated on tempered glass. Those we couldn't cut anymore. So the Shapton glass went away. So whatever Shapton glass stones that exist out there in the world for Wicked Edge are collector's items. And they are not out there anymore unless you find new old stock someplace that you can get to make stones for Wicked Edge. But Shapton found a new way of doing it, and they came out with the new stone they call the Shapton Rockstar, which is like the original Shapton glass without the tempered glass plating. They figured out how to make it hard enough that it wouldn't break. And now we can get those and cut those to make for Wicked Edge, but they're really expensive. So I got a set of those made when the Rockstars first came out on the 1x6 plates instead of on the Wicked Edge side. So my go-to stones, back to this long conversation, is either Shapton glass, which is now called Rockstar, or Chaucer. But I have other stones that I enjoy using. And part of my reason for making the Expert Corner group at the same time that I made it to offer the accessories to use the dual cam vise and the new standard vise, I'm working with Tom Blodgett trying to get something going to make whetstones available in an easy to buy, easy to understand manner from someone that you can trust. So Tom and I are working on something, and he's got the Chaucers that he offered for years, but they were never popular because he never really made an effort to market them, because Wicked Edge is so proprietary that it's difficult for anybody, including myself, to say Wicked Edge. And when I say Wicked Edge accessories, they are accessories for Wicked Edge, but there's nothing about them that comes from Wicked Edge. So it's hard to use the name to describe something that's not Wicked Edge. But you have to use the name because Wicked Edge is proprietary. So I have my accessories for Wicked Edge that let you use other non-proprietary items with Wicked Edge. such as 1x6 bladed medium. Because wicked edges always spin like the the left-handed red-headed stepchild that was different. It was in the guided sharpening niche, but in a separate category in that niche by itself because of the duality working with two stones and because of the proprietary size. I'm here to say that it's not that much difference and there's no reason that the two can't work together, and that's what I do using these kind of stones in uni handles and my accessories and whatever to expand the geometry to make it so that when you put a 1x6 stone on a wicked edge, that you see that it's really only a little bit bigger. So that's where we come in at the Expert Corner group. I'm trying to help people to use whatever mediums they want to use so that they can do whatever they want to do when they sharpen their knives. At the same time, I center on wicked edge because wicked edge is proprietary and it's different than the other ones. And nobody was making any of these goodies for wicked edge that are being made for all the other sharpeners. So I picked up the ball and ran with it. Anyways, thank you. Have a good day.